Gianluigi Donnarumma transfer. Man United interested in Paris Saint-Germain goalkeeper with uncertainty over Andre Onana future. Gianluigi Donnarumma has 1 year left on his PSG contract and Man United are interested in bringing him to Old Trafford. Champions League winners are close to signing Lille's Lucas Chevalier. Current United keeper Andre Onana under pressure after errors. Donnarumma has entered the final year of his contract and PSG are close to signing a new keeper in Lille's Lucas Chevalier. The Italy international is in no rush to make a decision over his future and is willing to compete with Chevalier for the #1 spot. It is still a possibility that he stays with the Champions League winners beyond this summer. However, United's interest throws the future of Andre Onana into doubt. The Cameroon international is with the squad in the United States, but is currently sidelined with a hamstring injury. Gianluigi Donnarumma would be a massive signing for Man United, both literally and figuratively. The 6 feet 5 inches Italy shotstopper is an enormous presence in the goalmouth and is regarded as one of the best goalkeepers in the business. It feels like Donnarumma went to even greater heights last season, playing a crucial role in Paris Saint-Germain's incredible season. Commanding in League One, a shootout star against Liverpool in the Champions League and formidable with 5 clean sheets in 8 games at the Club World Cup, Donnarumma would be a huge coup for United if they could get a deal done. Andre Onana has been in the spotlight since he had that let-off against Wolves in his Premier League debut, and uncertainty about the current United keeper has fed the nervousness and lack of conviction about Ruben Amorim's backline. His total of 8 errors leading to goals since the start of 2023-24 is more than any other goalkeeper in the Premier League. Donnarumma would be a substantial upgrade. From next season, Sky Sports Premier League coverage will increase from 128 matches to at least 215 games exclusively live. And 80% of all televised Premier League games next season are on Sky Sports. Is Gianluigi Donnarumma really coming to Manchester United? Here's what we know. Picture this: one of the world's best goalkeepers might be packing his bags and leaving Paris for Manchester. Sounds crazy, right? But that's exactly what football fans are talking about right now. Gianluigi Donnarumma, the giant Italian goalkeeper who has been guarding PSG's goalposts, could be on his way to Old Trafford. And if you're a Manchester United fan, this news might just make your day. But if you support PSG, well, you might want to sit down for this one. The contract problem that started it all. Here's the thing about football contracts: they're everything. And Donnarumma's contract situation is causing all the drama. He joined PSG in 2021 on a free transfer from AC Milan. That was a huge deal because free transfers don't happen often with players of his quality. But now, 3 years later, he only has 1 year left on his contract. What does this mean? It means PSG has a big decision to make. Did they offer him a new contract with more money? Or do they let him go and find someone else? 1 year left on a contract is like having 1 foot out the door in football. Players with this situation have all the power. They can choose where they want to go next, and clubs can't demand huge transfer fees. For Donnarumma, this timing might be perfect. For PSG, it's giving them headaches. Why PSG might let him go? Now here's where the story gets really interesting. PSG aren't just sitting around waiting for Donnarumma to decide. They are actually looking for his replacement. The French champions are close to signing Lucas Chevalier from Lille. Chevalier is younger, French, and much cheaper. He's been doing great things at Lille and many people think he could be France's next #1 goalkeeper. But why would PSG want to replace someone as good as Donnarumma? Here are a few reasons. Money talks. Donnarumma is expensive. His wages are among the highest for goalkeepers in the world. Chevalier would cost much less. Age and future. While 26 isn't old, Chevalier is younger and could be PSG's goalkeeper for the next decade. French connection. PSG might prefer having a French goalkeeper who understands the league better. This puts Donnarumma in an awkward position. Even if he stays, he might have to fight for his spot with Chevalier. And for someone who has been Italy's #1 for years, sharing the goal might not sound appealing. The competition for Donnarumma's signature. United aren't the only club interested in Donnarumma. Several other teams are watching the situation closely. Manchester City, United's neighbours, are also mentioned as potential suitors. Having Donnarumma would give them one of the world's best goalkeepers as they continue to dominate English football. There are also clubs from Saudi Arabia showing interest. The Saudi League has been attracting big names with incredible money offers. While Donnarumma is still young enough for European football, the financial offers from Saudi clubs can be hard to ignore. Turkish giants Galatasaray are another option. They can offer European football and a chance to be the undisputed number one. What does Donnarumma want? This is the million-dollar question. What does the man himself want to do? Reports suggest that Donnarumma is in no hurry to make a decision. He's willing to wait and see how things develop. This makes sense, he holds all the cards right now. If he stays at PSG, he'll have to compete with Chevalier for the starting position. That's not ideal, but PSG are still a top club competing for the Champions League every year. If he leaves, he could choose from several interesting options. Each club offers something different: Premier League football with United, guaranteed starting position elsewhere, or incredible money in Saudi Arabia. The fact that he's not rushing suggests he's carefully weighing all his options. And why shouldn't he? This decision will shape the next few years of his career. The timing factor. One thing that makes this situation more interesting is the timing. The transfer window doesn't last forever, and decisions need to be made soon. PSG want to finalize their goalkeeper situation before the new season starts. If they are bringing in Chevalier, they need to know what Donnarumma is doing. United are also keen to sort out their goalkeeper position. They've already had enough problems in goal, and they don't want to start another season with uncertainty. For Donnarumma, waiting too long could mean missing out on good opportunities. While he has the power now, that could change if clubs move on to other targets. What this means for football fans. If you're a United fan, this news is exciting but also nerve-wracking. Getting Donnarumma would be amazing, but there's no guarantee it will happen. How many times have United been linked with great players who ended up elsewhere? PSG fans might be worried about losing such a quality goalkeeper. But they might also trust their club's judgment in wanting to bring in Chevalier. For neutral fans, this is just great entertainment. Transfer sagas like this remind us why we love football. The drama, the uncertainty, the what ifs, it's all part of the beautiful game. What happens next? So what should we expect in the coming weeks? PSG will likely finalize the Chevalier signing soon. This might put pressure on Donnarumma to make a decision about his future. United transfer U-turn as bombshell update emerges. Manchester United transfer news as Benjamin Sesko makes a shock decision on his next transfer. Benjamin Sesko has decided to reject Manchester United and join Newcastle United this summer, according to a report in Slovenia. The RB Leipzig striker is at the centre of a two-way transfer battle between United and Newcastle. The 22-year-old was previously at the top of Arsenal's transfer striker radar, but Mikel Arteta's men opted to sign Viktor Gyökeres. United and Newcastle are both in the market for a new striker after missing out on previous targets. Ruben Amorim has missed out on Liam Delap and Gyökeres this summer, and it's understood that Sesko is now their priority target. Previously, it was claimed that the Leipzig ace's preference was a move to Old Trafford, but that stance seems to have changed. Slovenian newspaper Delo claimed late on Friday night that Newcastle have managed to convince Sesko to reject United and move to St James Park. The report adds that the Magpies' proposal has successfully won Sesko over. Sky Germany had previously suggested that United was Sesko's priority. However, the recent update coming out of the striker's homeland suggests that the Reds are facing the prospect of missing out on another priority target. Newcastle are desperate to sign a new striker after missing out on Hugo Ekitike to Liverpool. There is also strong interest from the Premier League champions for Alexander Isak, with an opening bid being launched. Isak is understood to be pushing for a move and is currently training alone at former club Real Sociedad after pulling out of their pre-season tour. For United, should Sesko move to Newcastle, Ollie Watkins is expected to emerge as the priority. Has Benjamin Sesko just delivered a shocking blow to Manchester United? Picture this, you're a Manchester United fan, and you've been following your team's search for a new striker all summer. You've watched them miss out on target after target. Then, just when it looks like they might finally land their man, everything changes overnight. Sound familiar? Well, that's exactly what might be happening with Benjamin Sesko right now. The 22-year-old Slovenian striker has become the center of one of the most talked about transfer battles this summer. And if recent reports are true, Manchester United fans might be in for another heartbreak. Manchester United's striker problem. Let's be honest, Manchester United have had a striker problem for quite some time now. When you look at their current options, it's clear why they are so desperate to bring in someone new. The Red Devils have been linked with numerous strikers over the past few months. Remember Liam Delap? He ended up staying put. What about Victor Gyökeres? Arsenal swooped in and signed him instead. It's been one disappointment after another for United fans. Manager Ruben Amorim knows that without a reliable goal scorer, his team will struggle to compete for the top prizes. That's why Sesko became their #1 target. The young Slovenian seemed like the perfect fit, young, talented, and available. But here's where things get interesting. Just when United thought they had their man, Newcastle United entered the picture. Newcastle's ambitious plans. Newcastle United aren't the same club they were a few years ago. With new ownership and big ambitions, they are looking to establish themselves among England's elite clubs. And that means they need top-quality players. Like United, Newcastle have been searching for a striker who can take them to the next level. They've got the money to compete with the biggest clubs, and they are not afraid to use it. The Magpies see Sesko as a player who could be the face of their project for years to come. At 22, he fits perfectly with their long-term vision. But could they really convince him to choose St James Park over Old Trafford? The transfer battle heats up. For weeks, it seemed like Manchester United had the upper hand in the race for Sesko's signature. Reports from Germany suggested that the player preferred a move to Old Trafford. Sky Germany, a reliable source for transfer news, indicated that United was Sesko's priority. This made sense for several reasons. Manchester United is one of the biggest clubs in the world. They have history, tradition, and global recognition that few clubs can match. For a young player like Sesko, the chance to play at Old Trafford would be a dream come true. But football transfers are never straightforward, are they? The Slovenian bombshell. Then came Friday night, and everything changed. Slovenian newspaper Delo dropped a bombshell that nobody saw coming. According to their report, Benjamin Sesko has decided to reject Manchester United and join Newcastle United instead. This wasn't just a small rumor or speculation. The report claimed that Newcastle's proposal had successfully won Sesko over. In other words, the Magpies had managed to convince the striker that their project was more attractive than what United could offer. But how could this happen? How could Newcastle convince a player to turn down Manchester United? What could Newcastle have offered? If the reports are true, what exactly did Newcastle put on the table that Manchester United couldn't match? Money is the obvious answer. Newcastle's owners have deep pockets, and they are not afraid to spend big to attract top talent. They could have offered Sesko a salary that even United would struggle to match. But it might not just be about money. Newcastle could have painted a picture of a club on the rise, where Sesko would be a key part of something special being built. At United, he might just be another signing. At Newcastle, he could be the cornerstone of their future success. Playing time is another factor. At Newcastle, Sesko might be guaranteed to be the main striker from day one. At United, with their larger squad and higher expectations, that guarantee might not exist. The timing factor. The timing of this reported decision is particularly interesting. Why would Sesko change his mind at this stage? One possibility is that Newcastle made a late push with an offer that was simply too good to refuse. Transfer negotiations can change quickly, and perhaps the Magpies presented something that hadn't been on the table before. Another factor could be Newcastle's recent form and direction. While they haven't won any major trophies yet, they've shown steady improvement and have a clear vision for the future. For a young player, being part of that journey might be more appealing than joining a club that's still trying to find its identity. Questions that need answers. Several questions remain about this whole situation. Will Sesko actually join Newcastle, or could this be a negotiation tactic to get a better deal from United? How reliable is the Slovenian newspaper report, especially when it contradicts earlier German sources? Could there be other clubs waiting in the wings to make a surprise move? And perhaps most importantly, what happens next for both Manchester United and Newcastle if this transfer does or doesn't go through? The human side of the story. Behind all the transfer speculation and newspaper reports, there's a young man trying to make the biggest decision of his career so far. Benjamin Sesko is 22 years old, and whatever choice he makes will shape the next few years of his life. Imagine being in his position. You have two big clubs wanting to sign you, both offering different things.